The last sunrise had faded into memory 3 generations ago, yet Mira still dreamed of golden light piercing through endless blue. She pressed her palm against the curved glass of her chamber, watching bioluminescent jellyfish drift past like floating lanterns in an eternal night. Beyond them, the sprawling architecture of New Thalassia glowed softly, domed structures carved from coral and crystalline polymers, connected by transparent tunnels that snaked through kelp forests as tall as the skyscrapers humanity had abandoned above. The city breathed with the ocean's rhythm, expanding and contracting with the currents, alive in ways the old world never was. Her gills, delicate, engineered slits along her neck, fluttered gently as she prepared for her shift at the Remembrance Gardens. Here, in the agricultural rings that fed the submerged cities, humans had learned to cultivate not just food, but beauty. Gardens of sea anemones bloomed in impossible colors, tended by hands that had forgotten the feeling of dry soil. Children born in these depths had never known wind, only current. They had never felt rain, only the constant embrace of salt water. The transformation had not been a choice, it had been survival. When the ice caps melted and the storms came, when the coasts were swallowed and the air grew toxic, humanity faced extinction or evolution. Scientists had unlocked the dormant sequences buried in human DNA, gifts from ancient ancestors who first crawled from the primordial seas. Within 2 generations, lungs became optional. Skin thickened, eyes widened to capture every photon of filtered light. Humanity returned to the womb of creation. Mira descended through the vertical city, passing market spheres where vendors traded kelp textiles and pearl chips containing music composed for underwater acoustics, haunting melodies that traveled through water like whale songs. Bioluminescent tattoos pulsed on the bodies of passers-by, communicating emotions that voices could no longer fully express in the dense, liquid world. At the city's heart stood the archive, a massive geodesic dome containing humanity's collected memory. Inside, holographic projections flickered, forests, deserts, mountains crowned with snow. Mira's work was to maintain these ghosts, to ensure that future generations would know what had been lost. She floated through corridors lined with preserved artifacts sealed in vacuum chambers, a child's drawing, a wedding ring, a leaf pressed between pages of a book that would crumble at water's touch. Today she cataloged recordings, a man laughing, the crunch of footsteps on autumn leaves, the crack of thunder without the muffling embrace of water. Her chest tightened as she listened. These sounds belonged to a world that felt increasingly mythical, like Atlantis must have seemed to the ancients, too beautiful to be true. But doubt had begun seeding through New Thalassia. The youngest generation, born with gills that never closed, webbed fingers that never remembered being separate, questioned why they should mourn a world that had tried to kill them. They looked upward to the poisoned surface with indifference and forward to the unexplored trenches with wonder. They spoke of pushing deeper, of settlements in the midnight zones where pressure turned water into something close to metal, where life took forms that defied understanding. Mira's final task each cycle was the same. She swam to the city's highest point, where the settlement's bioluminescence faded and true darkness began. There, a single shaft extended upward through hundreds of meters of water toward the surface humanity had abandoned. She ascended slowly, watching the light change from the warm amber of human habitation to the cold blue of depth, then to something stranger still, a sickly green where sunlight struggled to penetrate the toxic clouds above. Fish with mutations swam past, creatures adapting in real time to a world in flux. She understood then that evolution never stopped, that her grandchildren would be more different from her than she was from the surface dwellers of old. At the shaft's end, a reinforced glass barrier marked the boundary between worlds. Beyond it, the surface churned with chemical storms. She could see the silhouette of ruined buildings jutting through waves like tombstones, monuments to hubris reclaimed by tide. But in the east, barely visible through the murk, something else caught her eye, a patch of clearing sky bruised purple and orange. Lightning illuminated it, and for one impossible moment she saw what might have been a star. Mira placed both hands on the glass, gills and lungs working in concert as her body hovered between forms. Below, the city of light pulsed with 1,000,000 lives moving forward. Above, the poisoned sky held the faint